Hey everybody, what's up? Well, today I wanted to share with you this project, this quick project. It's kind of interesting because as you can see, you can find different books here, and once you click on one of them, it'll show you like a short description or like the plot of the book. You can find its price, and you can choose the different versions you have of it. And I'm going to select Kindle here, and then you can choose the number of copies you want, and according to the number of copies it will calculate how much you would need to pay. And then you can add to cart, and if you click there you can go straight to the cart and see the books that you have here. You can edit the amount and it will calculate accordingly. It'll show you the amount, the total amount accordingly. And you can also add before leaving. You can add, let's add this one, rich that, poor that, and whatever. So I'm just gonna click one of these, and I'm gonna hit OK. So once you arrive to this page, you will see it'll calculate all the total amount of it, and you can edit this, and it'll show you here, or you can delete one if you want already altogether. And bam, so I'm going to select 2. I'm going to confirm my command. So once you arrive to this page, if you try to confirm the command, it'll tell you that you need to provide a name. So if I do that, if I provide whatever name, and if I provide a weird email or a non-valid email, it'll tell you we need a valid email. So if I do something like this, it'll tell you no, we need a valid email. So yeah, so let's put that .net, and let's hit OK. So that's a really weird name, but still your order was successfully done or passed or whatever. And then we'll contact you soon with your purchase details. And of course, this is just a front-end application, but still I think it's very interesting to see how we manipulate all these details and how we bring them. We use the fetch API to bring all the details, the prices, and whenever we add to the cart, what happens is that, let me show you on the developers tool, we store them in the local storage. Now we only store the book ID, this book ID here, and the number of books. So for example, if I click edit, and if I change this to 3, we can also see here that we will send this is the data that we are going to send to our backend. We're not storing here the price because anyone can right click this and edit. So it'll be like a big issue with the security issues. So you can put, for example, price and do something like that. Someone might want to do this, and you send 80 euros, and then this is what we would be sending to our backend. So that would not be very secure. So okay, so you can delete this. This would of course get emptied. So I'm gonna add another one, and this time let's add this one here. Deck 2 copies, add to cart. Yeah, let's go to the cart, and as you can see, you have all the details here. You can confirm your command. I'm gonna say mart at whatever that. So, and you can, this is optional, you can add your phone or not, and then you say confirm command, and this will be emptied out. So if I go back to the cart will be empty. So I think it's kind of interesting, all the things that you can see here. Now I'm going to leave in the description the link to the Replit repository where you can download. I mean, if you go to this link, if you follow this link, you will see something like this where you can fork and follow the tutorial, or just have a look at it and have all the code inside. You could also download it if you want. Like Replit is absolutely for free, so you don't have to have installed no IDE or whatever. Like if you don't want to install Visual Studio Code or Sublime Editor, and you just want to go and code on any on any computer, you can just do that. And this is, I think it's a great tool. It's called Replit, and I'm going to leave you the link in the video description. I'm going to leave you the link in the video description. So, all right, okay. So once you get here, you can fork this thing, and it will tell you to log in, and you can do that. And once you're logged in, you're going to see something a little bit like this. And you can also download it if you want. You can download it as a zip, or you can edit it right here, and it works pretty well as an IDE. I think this thing has Emmet. It comes with Emmet installed, and it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool to work with. Also, before starting, I will leave you this in the video description. I used Bootstrap 5. Here I use it as a CDN, but I'm gonna download it to work locally with it. So we're gonna jump right in and start coding right up. So here I am on my computer, and as you can see, this folder is absolutely empty, so I'm going to right click. If you're going to use Visual Studio, I would suggest you do exactly what I do, especially if you're a beginner. But if you already know this, just ignore this part. I'm just going to right click. I'm on Windows, so I'm going to say open with code. And you can still do that from the menu here, open folder, and navigate to whatever folder you just put your stuff in. So I'm just going to click create a new file. We're gonna call this HTML. I'm just gonna hit the exclamation mark and then hit tab to have a boilerplate of an HTML5, and I'm gonna call this booking or book or whatever, bookstore, I guess. It's fine. And once this is done, oh, by the way, if you see some changes here, that's the prettier extension that it's formats my code a little bit. So okay, so once this is done, I'm gonna go ahead and hit go live, and this is gonna open this port here on my browser. So next thing is I'm gonna simply put an H1 to say bookstore. Boom, right there. So it shows up like that. Now I'm gonna open the console, and this will show up. So I just very quickly want to download and add a favicon here, because sometimes it shows you like a weird message here that you can't find the favicon, and I hate that message. Sometimes it appears, sometimes it doesn't, but I just want to have a favicon right here. I went ahead and downloaded this favicon here. You can use that one. It's just a simple blue text with some weird stuff in it. So once this is here, we're gonna go to our Visual Studio Code or whatever you're using, and I'm gonna say link, and using the arrow keys, I'm just gonna go to favicon and hit tab, and that's gonna do the work for us. It's gonna be this little icon that's gonna show up here. Okay, so once this is done, you can see the little icon up here. So we're gonna go to Bootstrap 5, and you can CDN this thing on you can copy this link right here, and this is already importing Bootstrap, and we can go here and see that this is being imported, the fifth version. So you can do that, or you can also download it, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go to download, and I'm gonna use it locally. So let me real quick download this thing. So I'm gonna open it up, and I'm gonna copy these two files, Control C, get out of here, Control V, erase this, and let me get in here, and we are going to use none of this, not this, or this. We're gonna be using, if you downloaded it, we're gonna be using the bootstrap min.js and bootstrap min map, and that's simply because sometimes it appears a weird error message, which is kind of distracting. So that's why I download the map version of it. Same thing with the CSS. This is the compiled version that we are downloading, and we're going to be using these. So the way to link these, we just need to, I'm just going to Control Z out of that, and I'm going to hit link. What this is, rel link CSS. So once we get this, I'm going to say CSS and Bootstrap min. That should still work. Let's see here. Yeah. So we are getting the minified version, but this is the one that is locally on our computer, in our local host, which in my opinion it's a little faster, I guess. Okay, so and we are also going to do a script with a source, and I don't know why Emmett didn't get that script. src. Man, it's all over the place with this. What's wrong with you, Emmett? So this is going to be JS, and this is going to be the minified version. Although I don't think I'm going to use the JavaScript for Bootstrap, since I won't be using the navigation thing, but we'll see. Just in case it's there. All right. Okay. So everything looks good, I guess. Let me real quickly check. Yeah, this is the JavaScript for Bootstrap. This is the old thing for CSS. So working good, looking good. All right. Okay. So next step is to do the little nav bar, and I'm gonna select this from the examples that we have over here. So let's have a look at this. Let's see. So we have this simple nav bars here. So I was thinking that maybe we could use this one. So I'm going to right click, inspect, and this is this header that I just selected. Yeah, that's the one. So I'm going to say edit as HTML, and I'm going to copy all these lines of code. So I'm going to kind of steal this snippet and put it right in the body. So everything is contained with this div that is the container, and then we have the header with some padding, display flex, etc., and some pills. These are called pills that we can later select. So that's done. That's already working. Not too bad. Okay, let me close this and put one next to the other, so that's going to be a little faster. Close this up. So for this project, we are going to be using a cart, and we can leave this as home and the cart thing. That's good. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to right click on this file, hit copy and paste, and after changing the name to cart.html, I'm just going to change this active thing from the header to add it to the cart, and this is going to be hashtag, and this is going to be index.html, and on the HTML this is going to be a hashtag to itself. Just going to move this down here for simplicity, I guess, and it's going to be to the cart.html. Bam. So now if we go to one or the other, this should say cart. At least we know where we are. Bookstore, cart, bookstore, cart. Okay, so that's kind of working, and let me close this thing here. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to be using a component from Bootstrap. Then this component is called card. So let me show you how that looks. Let me close this. Get started. Components. There's this thing called card, and this is the kind of card, the kind of card that we're going to be using. It's very simple. It's very obvious, I guess. So this is the header. I'm gonna collapse the header and add a main tag and hit Control S. So if we come back here, oh, I left the H1 there. Maybe probably we can add it to the top, I guess. That's fine. So yeah, so everything is contained within the container, and then we start adding cards, and in these cards we're going to be adding the content for each book later. So I'm just going to shorten the text because it's a lot, and then instead of saying go somewhere, learn more. That's good. We're going to call that good. And yeah, so we're going to be repeating this same pattern along all the way until we get all the cards, and we're going to be doing that using JavaScript. So before we jump into JavaScript and start coding and populating this HTML using JavaScript in a dynamic way, look, if I copy and paste this card right now, it's not going to look right. Let me show you why. Because you see it stack one after the other. So to avoid that, we need to come here. Let me Control Z out of that, and I'm going to add a div with a class of row, and this is basic Bootstrap stuff. So what this row is going to do is then it's going to help us stack its content according to the content we have inside, and I hope that makes sense, and I will try to show you what I mean right now. So as you see here, I added col and col, so that makes columns out of these, and then we're gonna be doing this in a better way. But that's kind of responsive, and that's the kind of responsiveness that Bootstrap gives us right off the bat. So we have this these cards, and inside some text that we're going to be populating with the data from our books, and we're going to do that right now. So I'm going to Control Z out of this. I'm going to say Control S, and we're going to add a new file to our JS. We're going to create this file called main script.js, something like that. And first things first, I'm going to connect this script, and the source is going to be JS, but after JS is going to be this one, main script. So I'm connecting this index HTML to the main script, and I'm just going to hit console.log hello, just to see if everything is working a-okay. There we go. It's saying that it cannot find something here. What can't you find? Fail to load resource, the server responder 404. What is that thing that you cannot find? What are you trying to find? Oh yeah, the image. Oh, we're good. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah. It says it can't find the image. Yeah. Because we didn't add the image. All right. Okay, we'll do that in a minute. I'm sorry, but I just can't stand whenever I get an error on my console. I need to know why that error is there, and if it's there, I want to make it disappear. Okay, it will disappear in a minute. It's this image that says it cannot find its source. Okay, yeah, because it was we passed just 3 dots as the source, but we're gonna repopulate this in a minute. So, all right, okay. Before we start populating this, let me try to make something. Show you a couple of things. So, we're gonna need a book, well, many books, but each book is gonna be an object. So, we're gonna say that our first book is gonna be Lord of the Rings, right? So let book equals the name is going to be Lord of the Rings, and then this is going to have a price. Don't worry, I'm not going to be copying all the books like that. I'm just want to show you something real quick. The price is not going to be a string. Let's hit 40. I don't know how much the Lord of the Ring costs. So so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say console.log book. Yeah. So if we look at here, we have in our console the stuff that we're gonna the data that we are going to be using to put it on our page in a minute. So we have that. And I'm going to bring some other stuff. So I'm going to bring an image URL, a description, an alt text that we're going to be using for the image, and an ID that's going to be unique. Don't worry about any of this. I'm just showing you so we can understand each other a little better, hopefully. So what we are going to do is that we're going to take this name and put it here. Here. How are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to say document.query selector, and I'm going to select this from our HTML page, and what we need right now is the card or the card title class, which is this class right here. So I'm going to say card title and say inner HTML equals hello. So there you go. So we're populating the HTML using JavaScript. But instead of saying hello, we could say is equal to book dot name. And that's going to give us Lord of the Rings, which is, I'm consoling this down here because later you'll see that we don't usually have our content in our JavaScript like this. We have to go and look it up somewhere else. And for that, we're going to be using the Fetch API. But before I get ahead of myself, let me show you this. So right now I'm using the card title, and I'm populating this with inner HTML. We could also do inner text here. In this case would be the same, because we are simply outputting some text. Now, in the case of using inner HTML, we can pass HTML tags here. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to select this. So as you see here, we have the card, and I'm going to make a comment here saying we're going to populate this dynamically populate. So I know that this comment here makes reference to the fact that we are gonna populate, we're gonna create this dynamically. Now, of course, now it screaming at us saying that in line 14 it cannot find this card title. That is, of course, true, because we deleted the. I made a comment. I created a comment, and this automatically leaves the row empty. But instead of saying here query selector card title, we can say now row, and this will work, and it will throw Lord of the Rings here without any tags or anything. It's, if we inspect this element here, it'll show us a row, like as you see here, a row with Lord of the Rings just spit out there, like with no tags or anything. So to change that, copy this part here of this HTML, and we are in need of using these backticks, and these backticks have some special powers, and we're going to see them in action right now. So as you see now, it allows us to add HTML, and it allows us to populate this in a different way. So as you see here, I'm hard coding all this using these backticks, right? And now I'm just hard coding everything, and it's giving us the rest. But instead of using, for example, card title, we can use a special character which is called this is called template literal, and what it does is that we can pass here whatever we want. We can say 2 times 5, for example, and this would spit out 10. So this is real JavaScript that we're using. So this variable that we declared in line 1, we can use this variable, which is an object, and we're going to say book.name, and that is going to spit Lord of the Rings. Now, if we did simply book, it's going to say this is an object, and I don't know what's inside. So we need to specify book.name, and that will give us the name. Exactly the same thing happens with the description. So I'm going to say book.description. And that is going to give us all the text that we have here. It's going to come to this line of code, and it's going to be thrown in there. And then last thing is the, I'm going to do, well, we're going to do first then the source, which is book, which is the object we have up here. And the property that we're looking for is image.url. So I'm going to say .image.url. I'm going to say save, and look at that. Would you look at that? Now, problem is that the alt text of this is still empty, and that's why we have an option of alt text, which is right over here. So if we look at the HTML, we have the alt text absolutely empty. This attribute is empty. So we're going to do same thing. Book.alt text. Hit save, and now the alt text is the Lord of the Rings book. You can put whatever you want here. Now, so far we're not using the price. We're not showing the price in this first page. And we are not using the ID. We're going to use those in the next video, in which we are going to do this in a different way. We are going to put this in a function. Right now, everything is like thrown into the JS file like that, which is not ideal. This is not good coding. You know, we're just declaring a variable here, an object, and then consoling out the object, and then populating things like it's just, you know, random stuff. Like there's no organization. We're going to organize this in a nicer way, I guess. So if we ever come back to this, we're going to understand it better. And if someone else reads our code, it will hopefully make sense a lot quicker. So we're going to do all that, and we are also going to bring the data using the Fetch API, the JavaScript Fetch API. So we're not going to bring one book, we're going to bring several books, and we're going to populate all the HTML of this page using precisely that data that we're going to be bringing from. It's not going to be a server, it'll be just a file. You will see that in the next video. So I'll see you then. Cheers.